Welcome to Weeks Ahead AI, where business owners learn how to use AI to save time, cut costs, and stay weeks ahead.
Every time your employee clicks on that little AI button inside your software, money leaves your account. Most business owners have no idea how much or how badly they're being marked up. Today we're talking about token costs. Welcome back to Weeks Ahead. What are tokens?
Are you Brad?
I'm Brad, yes. And we got Mitch and Terry with us. Welcome back, guys. Good to have you again.
This is such an exciting topic, Brad. I can't wait to hear you talk about it.
Oh, I know so much about token costs and the exchange rates of tokens and all that, but I'm going to let Mitch do most of the talking, just so he can.
Just include Mitch from once. Okay, that's cool.
No, yeah, we've been talking amongst ourselves just kind of the cost of AI and what business owners and what we're spending, and starting to kind of wake up to. I think a lot of people are either starting to or need to wake up to what the actual costs of some of this.
So there's all this cost about how much AI is going to make people more efficient and how it's going to help you and all this. And right now there's this other side that people haven't talked about as much, which is like, oh, that's cool. What's it actually costing me to do it?
Mm-hmm.
More. and more than it was probably a few months ago. And we think it's going to cost you even more a year from now, is what we think.
And a lot of that's related to people that when they get surveyed and say you're using AI in your business, and they're using AI for maybe one of the software as a service programs that they're using, and they click enhance with AI button. Yeah. And they say, yes, I'm using AI in my business because of that.
So give me an example, Mitch.
Well, for me, it was Monday.com. So we were using that as a CRM. They rolled out a new AI feature, and I was like, heck yes.
Finally.
Yes, finally. And it was one of those moments where I was having to type a formula in to fill out another column on a Monday board. And all of a sudden it just happened. I'm like, well, that's pretty exciting. That just saved me 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go do another column on another board. Did it. I'm like, life got better. Went to do a third column and it just said, you're out of credits. Like, I put $40 in here for this month, and in 7 minutes, I'm out of credits. Like, how did that happen? And when you go look up what the actual, like what that gets you, what your credits get you, it's not linear, and you can't tell. And so what they'll do is just say you've already used 30,000 credits. Well, 30,000 is a big number.
Yeah, and it's an arbitrary conversion that nobody can do the math, right, without AI to help them solve it, right?
Yeah. And so eventually realized, just doing some research, like what does Monday charge for tokens? And it was like 8 cents per token. And then as we're building Relay Hub,
8 cents per token?
8 cents per token.
Wow.
So what sort of markup is that?
Well, it was costing us 0.009 cents per token when we used our API keys. And so looked down and realized $80 of Monday usage would have only cost me 80 cents if I was running the API keys myself. And so we ended up building our own CRM, like from scratch, so that we could use our own API keys. Because by using our own API keys, now my AI usage for that site is like $25 a month total. And I would have been easily at $1,100, $1,200.
So just last week we had Tim Hicks on here, industrial flooring contractor, and he's hoping to make probably a 40% gross margin, right? Which is going to translate maybe to a net profit to him of 15%.
Right.
And you're telling me that some of these software companies are getting a markup on tokens that is 100x?
Yeah, because they're coming to the market. They've got millions of users, and they see AI as an easy way to just completely juice and just squeeze more juice out of the lemon. And there's pressure on them right now because people can do what I did and just go build their own version of it. And so if they risk losing users, they can't not grow. Like if you're a publicly listed company or you're owned by a private equity shop, you have to grow by 30% a year. And if all of a sudden you see attrition of even 10%, that 30% has to come from somewhere. So now you've got to get 40% more out of your existing customers if you're not adding new ones. Well, if you charge an 80x markup on tokens, it's pretty easy to bridge that gap.
Yeah. Well, so like, what's an average kind of token use if I'm just getting into? I'm not going to say ChatGPT, guys. If I'm getting into Claude.
Let's say you're getting into DeepSeek. Are you into DeepSeek?
Sure. Let's say I am into DeepSeek. But no, I'm jumping into Claude, and I'm working on something. And I'm just saying, hey, help me analyze this. Is it kind of broken down by number of how many words I'm entering, how long their response is? What part is costing me the tokens? When I'm asking her, when it's responding, both?
It's kind of like inches to centimeters. Nobody knows.
Okay, exactly.
It's like, oh, that was 14,000 tokens. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's all based on really the file size. And so if you think about it in terms of like kilobytes or megabytes or gigabytes on your computer, if you ask it a simple question, that may only be, 1,000 to 3,000 tokens.
Right.
But the second you upload an attachment to it, like you've maxed it out. And so a lot of that's, you can tell kind of easily by the context window that these things have. And so there was a time when we were working on your Northbridge financial analyzer. I think our max token size was, we had a 750,000 context window, and we put one file in there and it blew right through it. Like it couldn't even digest a file. It still cost you $8 because you used the full allotment of tokens and you didn't get an answer.
Didn't get an answer, yeah.
And so as they've increased their token size, you can put bigger attachments in, but it still has to work. Otherwise, they rag it, and when they rag it, you get worse answers.
Yeah.
So, Mitch, is this a case where probably all the listeners have experienced a time when they've gone to upload a file into ChatGPT or something, and then it simply won't take it?
It won't take it, or it'll spin for 5 minutes, and just while that 5 minutes is spinning, like compute is happening on the back end. And you're getting charged for every second of compute that's being used. And so all of a sudden you get that message of, you've exceeded your usage for the day and we're going to turn it back on at 7 p.m. tomorrow. That's awesome. Like, now what? And so you can really blow through your token allotment quickly if you're using a subscription plan, which is part of why when we were building Relay Hub, full transparency, we saw tokens as a way to monetize the product.
Right.
But we quickly realized, I don't know that we're actually helping businesses if we're just going to end up costing them more. And that's why now we've got it to where you can bring your own API keys and you can control spend, and you're going to get it at, a tenth of the price or 100th of the price in many cases is what you do on these other platforms. And so for our own instance of Monday.com, we're leveraging our API keys that we have in Relay Hub to actually automate Monday for us. And so I've got automated tasks set up in Relay Hub, and it can go into Monday and it can add columns, it can remove rows, it can change the customer's name, the address, everything using our own API keys. And what would have cost me $3 now costs me 3 cents.
So Mitch, we've talked on this show about businesses like, hey, if your AI strategy is to utilize tools that are inside software platforms you're already using in your business, we think that's a bad strategy, right? And this is the big reason why, is because it's really, really expensive to do it this way.
Yeah, it's a cool way to see the power of AI, and you can kind of realize the magic of what it can do is simply by turning on an existing AI switch on a product you already have. But it's not really saving you money unless you're going to grow the business, because now all you've done is increase the overhead of the position of that person that's using it. And so a lot of people are starting to come out with token budgets, just like health and insurance benefits that they're adding to the cost of an employee.
Yeah.
And so
part of the load factor is token use or token costs.
Yeah, like you've got to either increase revenue or decrease headcount. And I think most people's goal isn't necessarily to decrease headcount. I don't think anybody wants to just go get rid of people. I think the goal is to grow the business. So how do you take those 2 or 3 users that you have in this position, in this category of the business, and make them equal 6 or 7?
So if I'm a business owner, this scares me a little bit, because I've been so excited about all the possibilities of how AI can help me, and nobody's really talked about this other side here. Is like, okay, at what expense? And so now, do I really get the savings that I'm thinking I'm getting?
Yeah, in addition to your HubSpot subscription cost, now you're paying this in addition to that. Initially you might be thinking, well, cool, they've integrated some AI into this, and that's great, but it is costing you in addition to your base subscription, and I mean all of them are.
So then explain to me how, if I can bring my own API keys and I'm a business owner, how can I control? Do I have the ability to control what my company spends?
You do, yeah. So if you've got a API key from one of these big 4 providers, you can go in there and set a limit of, you can only charge me $100 at a time, and once we've exceeded $500 for the month, I need a notification in my inbox.
Right.
That lets
So
me
if it's
know
the 7th of the month and I get my first notification,
someone's not using it efficient, or your business should be growing through the roof. And if sales are up 40%, high five and keep going. If they're not, and everyone's still stressed that they're working too much, something's not going right. I mean, there was a study that came out this last year that 65% of businesses that were using all these AI tools said their cost exceeded estimates by over 50% due to token usage.
so people are just smoking through tokens.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Yeah.
smoking it, because it's kind of a novelty, and we were doing this, right? We're throwing everything in here and like having no idea that there's a meter over here just clicking away.
Well, and part of it's like inefficient usage of AI. And so if someone just, like, if your team doesn't know how to actually use AI, it's going to smoke you, because if you have someone that just goes into the same conversation every time, because it's easy, right? They were already in that chat and they just keep going to it. Well, every time you have a conversation with that chat, it's sending the entire chat.
It's got to
every single time
that entire context window.
Yeah, because it doesn't know it doesn't know that you're continuing a conversation. It only knows what you're telling it at this time. Well, for it to look like it has a memory, what it's doing is it's going and rereading your entire chat.
Yeah.
And so at the very beginning, you may only be using 1,000, 3,000, 5,000. But when you're down that thread 15 minutes later, every single query could be 30 to 50,000 tokens.
Right.
And so what you have to do is learn how to structure AI where you've got this knowledge base and these pre-built agents that already have all of your context in it, so that it's not retraining the LLM with every single message. And I mean, it can have an impact of 80% on your token usage.
You say that, and by the way, I've done that.
Yeah,
I've gone into the context window that's 8 miles long, and just like, hey, it already kind of knows what we've been talking about. On the flip side, if I go to a brand new context window, pick your favorite. I'll pick Brad's favorite, ChatGPT. If I go in there, but I need to give it some context so that I get a good answer. I'm burning through tokens trying to give it context, so that it gives me a good answer.
And you're not tricking it when you go in and say, give me, like if you go into Grok, I thought that was really cool because you could go in there and adjust your response length. And I was like, give me very short responses. And I would get like 8-word responses max. That's all I wanted. I was like, nailed it. I'm getting cheap tokens. Well, actually, that can cost you more, because what it does,
Got to summarize it.
yeah, it's going to give you the best answer. And so what happens in the background is you may get a 4-paragraph answer, and then it sends that 4 paragraphs off again and says, now shrink this down to 8 words for me. So you don't trick the system by saying, give me a shorter answer every time. It still adds up.
What do you know about Salesforce and what they're doing with tokens?
I mean, it's 100x on Salesforce.
Pretty surprising.
And the average user using AI on Salesforce, I think we read that it was close to $575
per user,
because they have, I think, 2 plans from what we looked at, and there was one plan where it was like $2 per AI interaction, which
That's insane.
May only cost 3 or 5 cents, or you pay the $300 a month and you get this kind of upgraded version
Unlimited.
of it, but it's on top of your seat, and there's additional cost to it too. And it turned into, let's see, we have it here somewhere, $550 per user per month.
Wow, that's crazy. So like you said, if you're not growing and it's not bringing tremendous value, think of that. You get a 20-person team, you're spending $10,000 a month.
Which the $550 a month, that's the efficient token usage. That's where they're only marking it up 2 to 3x, but you're going to pay that $300 a month whether you use it or not. So then it turns into use it or lose it.
So are the models, the LLMs, Claude, for example, Anthropic, are they not marking it up that much? I mean, they bake in so much token usage into any plan.
You mean if you have an individual plan?
Yeah, if you have an individual plan,
they're losing their tail on a super user.
They'll lose, but they also don't lose, because what they'll do is you'll notice that all of a sudden
dial you back, right?
It's really slow to get a response.
Yeah.
And so you used to get a response in 2 seconds, and now all of a sudden it's taking 45 or 50 seconds. And so what they're doing is like, Terry's smoking through our token usage right now. We're going to let him go all day long on this if he wants to, but it's going to take him 6, 7, 8 times longer. But what it'll also do is it'll just say, and this happened to me the other day, and I'm on the most expensive Claude plan there is, $200 a month. And it was 2 p.m. and it said, come back at 9 p.m. Like, you've maxed out your allotment.
Quite the humble brag there, by the way.
That just tells you how much tells you how much more work I'm doing than you, Brad.
So we've seen it with Monday. We've seen it with Salesforce. I had a personal experience with Cursor, and anybody that knows me, I am not a programmer, but this whole journey has led me down this path where I was doing some coding, and I was in Cursor, and man, I am burning away. It's on a weekend. I'm by myself. I have no interruptions, and I'm loving this. And I'm like, this is awesome. Cursor is awesome, and I'm doing things that I had no idea that I could do. And the next thing I know, I look up and I'm like, you're out of tokens. You come back tomorrow.
On a monthly plan.
On a monthly plan.
Wow.
And I'm going, well, I only have today, so I'll upgrade to the next version. Well, I burned through 60 tokens before I finally got finished with what I was doing. $60.
Right.
I'm sorry, $60 worth of tokens before I finished something that was I felt like was a fairly simple deal. And so, that's a lot. That's a lot of money to do a simple task.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And this is with tokens getting like 80% more efficient than they were a year ago, because the LLMs have figured out how to optimize prompting on the way to the LLM and give better answers back. Like, they've made a lot of progress, but it's still gotten tougher to get the answers you want within that allotment. And if you think of tokens, like really what they are in our space, it's a representation of how much electricity and compute power is available. Mm-hmm. And we're in an energy crisis in the U.S. Like, there's a list of probably 5 years of data centers that want to be built, and they're picking every year who gets to put one in based on the electricity available. Well, if that's a direct result of the electricity available, and now you've got oil going over 100 and could go to 150, tokens aren't going to get cheaper. I mean, I hear people say they're going to get cheaper.
They're banking on efficiency.
But that's because they want you to start using them. Like, do you remember when text messages first came out? Everyone text, all you can text, and all of a sudden it's like, it's 20 cents a message.
Right.
Or pick 5 people.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody knows, but I think the point is, and what we've got some interesting technology with our Relay Hub product that we've developed, and it's all centered around efficient token usage. Mm-hmm. You know, so we believe that with what we've built, we can get you the same answers or more accurate answers at 20% of the cost of what you're going to spend anywhere else.
Yeah.
And so that's
of course, this is not an anti-AI. I mean, we obviously are very pro AI and how it can help you, but it's being informed. It's about being informed about what you're spending on it. Especially in some of these other platforms that are kind of disguising. You think click the button and go AI, but
There's a tax.
There's a tax to it. Right? So we're just kind of trying to just open people's eyes to this a little bit.
You're paying for a private jet seat price, and you're getting a 23B seat in the back of the plane.
Is that the middle seat?
Well,
So
and
Terry had to sit with me.
And there are some cases where this still makes sense, for people. But just know that it's expensive, and you're getting those tokens are being marked up, and so you may want to look at alternatives to paying 100x the cost.
Just don't go buy 20 seats for the organization. Buy 2 with the AI and monitor those 2 seats for 2 months. Ask them how much more efficient they got, and then if you want to move it out through the whole organization, is it worth 10x that?
Just ask some questions. Open up your SaaS invoices if you're on a software like that, and look at what look to see where are there consumption or credit-based AI items that within that invoice. Talk to your software vendors directly. Just ask them, right? Like what models what models power your AI, and what am I paying for that to be on it?
And you know what's crazy is some of these models will default to the most expensive. So Mitch, I think you had some data on the cost. So like Opus versus one of their lower models, it defaults to the most expensive one, and it gives you some really awesome answers, and it really thinks through it. But you are burning through, even within these models, you can burn through. There's 100x variance in token usage from their simplest model to their thinking model.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
and that's where when you use API keys, you can actually program it to use certain models based on the task. And so if all you're trying to do is organize some data, and it's you're not even asking it to do math, you're just saying, go get this for me, you can use a model like Haiku or Gemini Flash or GPT 5.1 Mini, where the costs are very, very low. I mean, 1/10 to 1/20th of the price of the platform models to go do the work for you. And that's where, if you're able to find tools that you can use your own keys and select the models you want to run those tools, you save a ton of money.
This has been good. Yeah, if this has kind of opened your mind and you got a chance to go look at one of your invoices or go talk to one of your providers, and you're surprised by something, share it with us. We'd love to kind of read it and share it with our audience of like what we're seeing in real time, what people are being charged that they kind of aren't expecting. It's pretty interesting.
And a future episode is like protect those API keys. There's a whole network of people stealing those keys, and I had a key stolen. And I mean, they can rack up some bills. I mean, they're burning through
$600 in 2 days, right?
They're writing code and they're building some really cool stuff on your keys. And so we can have a whole nother episode about that.
And Terry has since changed his email password away from password 123. So that no longer works.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today. If you have any questions or thoughts that you'd like to share with us, drop us a note. Join us at weeksahead.ai. We'd really love more engagement. So come on, hit us up, right? But we're excited to talk more about Relay Hub in the coming episodes as well. We're really making some great strides there. So join us next time. Weeks Ahead.